All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over some programmatic examples utilizing JavaDB, the built-in Java Relational Database Management System, in Chapter 16 of our Tony Gaddis Java Starting Out with Early Objects 5th edition text. And now we're on the mathematical functions, which are also known as aggregate functions. And I like that name better, and let me explain why to you. All right, there are about 6 of these. There are actually more, but I'm not going to talk about standard deviation and variance and stuff like that. But there are average, there is sum, there is min, there is max, there is count, and there's something called count star. Okay? These first two, average and sum, these first two are true math functions. In other words, those will only work on numeric values. So I can say select the average price from coffee. In fact, let's try that one. Okay, select the average price from coffee. I'm going to grab that, go back to my program here. Okay, you might be surprised to see if it works. What does it say? Error column description. Oh, okay. I don't know how this is going to work here. Select the average price. Dot out. I don't need this anymore. Dot printf. Let's just I'll leave this like this. I'll put in just this, 5.2, and then we'll say result.double price. Hopefully that'll fix it. No. Well, this shouldn't be inside of a while loop anyway. Shouldn't need any of this. I won't need this. I don't need any of this. Now, since I'm working with copies, I don't mind the fact that I'm doing this. It's no biggie. Well, it still doesn't like it. The problem, what I wanted to show you, and we'll get it in the next example, is that an aggregate like this will only give one result back. It'll actually go and add up all the costs of the coffees and divide by the total number of records that there are. All right, so let me close this. And it says if I, no, well, it's already saved, so that's fine. Let's do this. I'm going to bring this back up again because I've totally screwed this particular program up. So let me get rid of it and go back and re-add it from here. Okay. I'll save, and now I'll close it. All right. So, average and sum. So this would give you the average price for some coffee. If you put wheres on there, then you're putting in some criteria for it. Select sum would give you the cost of all coffees put together. This would give you the minimum price. This would give you the maximum price. This would give you how many records are in the table. This would give you how many records are in the table where the price is greater than $9.95. So let's look at this as coffee min price. Thought I already did a coffee min price, but we'll see. So now notice what we have in here. We've got a min, max, and average. Okay, and I like all that. All right, so I'm going to grab this. Again, this is called coffee min price. Like I said, I thought we already had a coffee min price. We do. All right, so we're going to call this one, the next one that we put in here, we'll call it coffee min price 2. And then I'll come in here and grab this. I don't understand, I guess. This was enter minimum price, so how? We want the one in here with some math functions. Let's look at coffee math. That's what it is. There's a mistake in the book or else in my part. All right. I'll just make a quick change here. I'm going to get an error right now because this is called coffee math. So I'm going to change this to coffee min price 2. Now it'll work. Okay. And we've got a... I'm going to add one more in here. I'm going to call this sum statement. So I'm going to select the sum. In fact, let's put one more in here too. And we'll call this count. And we'll do a count. All right, I'm getting these because I'm not printing those out yet, so we'll put them down here. And we'll say sum of all prices. And that will be result set equals this. Result set equals this. I'm just going to keep replicating this. Hopefully I'll do it right. So this will be the sum of all prices. Does not like here. Oh, we've got lowest, highest, etc. Sum equals 0.0. Comma there. And a comma there. I wish the author wouldn't do this. I think that's very poor programming practice. I know this is more work, but it's much more self-documenting to do it like this. What else do we do? We did count also. And actually, since it's a count, it can be an int. Okay, that should fix all of those. Sum now works. That's sum. Hopefully I'm not breaking the program by doing this, but I just want you to see all of these. So we had sum, and we added count. Average, sum, and count. Average was in there already. Sum, and this will be count of all coffees. Alright, so this will be count. So will this, and this, and this. And that's got to be get int instead of get double, and this will be average price. This will be count. How about this? Total number of coffees. And instead of %.2, it'll be %D for decimal integer, and that will be count. All right. Now, hopefully I didn't mess up anything. If I did, you'll know very quickly. Okay. So, that I'd have to fix. But our lowest price was $6.85. Our highest price was $18.45. We added up all 18 coffee prices and divided them. Okay, so you can see there's some mistakes in here, so let's fix those. The sum equals the sum of prices. That actually should have been correct. Sum. Right there. That should say sum. And this should say count. All right, let's see if that, we don't want a dollar sign here either. So let's see if that fixed it a little bit. So there's our lowest price, our highest price, our average price. There were 18 coffees. If we multiply 1016 by 18, you'll get 182.80. The total number of coffees are 18, and there's an F in there, which is from here. So if we run it one last time, there's our totals. Okay? So you've now gotten a chance to see the min, the max, the average, the sum, the count. Okay? Also known as the aggregate functions. More often than not. I don't know why they're calling them the math functions, but one more thing I want to show you, but I'm going to wait for a second before we go on to that. All right. I have been producing the previous presentation. Since I have, it's now at 74%, so when it gets to 100, it's going to come on the screen. You've seen that before. Here's how we can insert new data into the database. So you say either, well, typically like this, insert into coffee, then the columns, then the word values, and then the actual values. And you'll notice that since the description and the product number are both strings, they need single quotes around them. Not double quotes, single quotes. Since the price is a double, you can't put quotes around it. You can insert rows using the Java database connectivity. And let's look at the coffee inserter. All right. Which is the next example that's in here. Okay, so let's go back to here. We'll close this one. We will open up coffee inserter from here. We'll have to add a new coffee inserter into here. Enter the coffee description. Jeff's Finest Coffee. Enter the product number. Let's put in ZZZ-001. Enter the price, $24.95. All right, one row added to table. Now, should have all worked. Okay. The problem with this, just so you know, and I haven't shown you this before, but I wanted to show it to you, and that is, if we look over here, the way that this Java Derby works is different than any other relational database management system I have ever seen. What I mean is, I don't want that. Here's our Java folder. So here's our chapter 16 stuff. Here's the Coffee DB. Here's the database. The problem is, every one of these folders and this one, they all have a file in here that says, don't touch any of the files in here. And normally what you have is you have a bunch of files where you can look at the database, but we can't do that here. All right? And we can't do that here because the way that these things are set up internally here. All right? So we're not able to go in and actually jack with it, so to speak. All right. What did we have in here, though? We've got in our source. Insert population, coffee descriptions. Let's do the show descriptions and prices. All right, there's a reason, as always, there's a reason for my madness in here. So let's open up coffee descriptions, show descriptions and prices. I want to run this. And I'm running it because I want to show you what's in here. Whoops, what did we get here? Let's say select, we'll just put in select star from coffee, order by price in descending order. There's a reason I want to do this. Okay, select star from coffee, order by price. Oh. DESC. Try that. Okay, let's look at the top one. Jeff's Finest Coffee, $24.95. It's the one I just put in. What I wanted to show you was the fact that the inserter that we used did indeed work. All right, so I showed you an insert. Let's quickly look at an update, and then we'll look at a delete. This is just about finished, so I'm going to let this run its course here. So you can use the update statement to update. You can use the delete statement to delete. Remember from an earlier lecture, I talked about the fact that there are DDL and DML statements. We've been concentrating thus far on the DML, the data manipulation language. And in particular, we've looked at the insert. Now in particular, we've looked at the select. We just looked at the insert. Now we're going to look at the update and the delete. It's most important where you do an update and a delete, you put a where statement in there. If you leave the where off, it updates everything. So in this example right here, if we were to, the example that you see right here where the mouse is going nuts, if I said update coffee set price equal $9.95 and stopped right there, that would update the price of all coffees to $9.95. Same kind of thing when you do a delete. That's what it's saying here. Do not leave out the delete clause or the where clause. The process of issuing an update statement in JDBC is similar to an insert. All right, just that the query itself will be different. So the coffee price updater, let's bring up that one. So I'm going to close these. In fact, I'm going to leave that one here just in case I need it again. Now, what the author is doing here, and you've all seen it, is the fact that he's writing different classes for each one of these. Ideally, you would have a single class that would allow you to be able to do all this stuff. Oops, desktop, 16. We want coffee price updater. And it looks like there's two of them. Okay. All right, so we're going to run this, and it says enter the product number. What did we say? ZZZ-001. I think that was mine. Jeff's Finest Coffee. Enter the new price. Well, it just went up, so we're going to say $33.95. And it says that one row is updated. Well, if we bring this one back again and run it, let's see. Jeff's Finest Coffee is now $33.95. So our update worked. This is all stuff you've looked at before. The key thing is this statement right here, which says, I want to update coffee. I want to set the price to what I've just asked the user to put in, which was $33.95, but where the product number is equal to the product number I specified. all right? So many of these programs that are in here are very, very, very similar to one another. Now, delete, again, is very similar to update. Again, you need a where, because if you don't put it in, you end up deleting all records, which is almost always not going to be what you want. So you can see it's set up very similar to what we saw before, except that instead of an update, we're putting a delete in. So let's look at the coffee deleter, and as you probably have already guessed, we'll delete Jeff's coffee from our table. All right, so we want to, in here, we want to open, and it's coffee deleter. Okay, here's our deleter right there. We run it. It comes in and it says, enter the product number, ZZZ-001. Now, notice, because the author has done an excellent job here. It's coming back and it's saying, this is the name of the product. Are you sure you want to delete it? Okay. If I say no, I'm not sure, the item was not deleted. If I do it and I say ZZZ-001, and do I want to? Yes, I do want to. Now it says one row deleted. If I come back again and run my show descriptions and prices, what you'll notice is Jeff's Finest Coffee is no longer in there. All right. They come in next and they create the customer table. All right, so they're coming in and doing this and adding 3 records when they get done. I thought we already had a customer table, but that should give you this when we get done. All right, but let's try it anyway. If there already is a customer table by that name, we're either going to be dropping it first or we're going to get an error message. So let's find the create customer table. We'll come in here. We can now remove our updater and our deleter. All right, now we're telling it to create that table. It says it already exists. All right, we could have dropped it first if we wanted to. All right, we could have actually dropped it first. Now, if we change this one to select star from customers, all right, well, what's in the, this isn't going to work because we've got different fields in here, but you get the idea. We would be able to run that as well. Okay. So what that is going to do, that particular example, is it's going to create a brand new table, if it didn't exist, that's called customers, and it's going to put this stuff in it. So we'll have 3 customers. Customer 101, which is Downtown Cafe, there's the address, there's the city, state, and zip. Customer 2, which is Main Street Grocery, address, city, state, zip. Customer 103, the coffee place, city, state, zip. All right? You can remove a table with the drop table statement. Remember, create and alter and drop, and I don't think we look at alter in here, but drop, those are data definition language statements. All right, they all work with the schema or the description of the database, not the database itself. Creating a new database, now they're having you create an entertainment database that's in here. So you're going to create a brand new database called entertainment with a table in here called DVD. We're not putting in any information, but you can see that that's in there. So if we were to run that one, that's build entertainment db.java. And I want to show you this quickly. You'll notice that if I look under my Java folder and I look under here, I've got coffee. I don't have anything in here that says entertainment. In fact, let's search to be sure. Star entertainment. Star. Oops. Star. And it comes back and it says no items match your search. Well, again, this was create. Oh, I forgot what it was called now. Build entertainment DB. All right, so we want to come in here and create a new one, new class. Build entertainment DB. Okay, we're going to put that in. We're going to run it. Creating the DVD table done. So now if we go back and we look where we just were, in our not our chapter 16, but in our Java folder, and we go to chapter 16, notice there's now an entertainment DB that was just created. They mention in here that you can iterate your way through a table structure by doing first. Remember, there is that cursor, that pointer. If I call first, it goes to the beginning of the result set. Last, it goes to the end. Next is what we typically use in a loop to loop through it. Previous moves back one, whereas next moves forward one. Relative moves it by the number of things that you put in here. Absolute, as it says, moves the cursor to the one specified. Notice scrollable results are not supported by all Java database connectivity drivers. If you try it and it doesn't support it, you'll get an exception. Next, they talk about metadata in here. Metadata is data about data. As it says, the metadata can be used to determine which columns are returned when a query that is not known in advance is executed. So you can find out information about the table. So let's do the metadata demo. That's a mouthful. I think we don't need this anymore. Let's double check and make sure that that's the way that it looks. Let's run the metadata demo. It says enter a select statement for the coffee database. I'll put in select star from coffee. All right, it says it doesn't like something about what I put in here. It might be the semicolon. I don't know. So enter a select statement from coffee. Select star from coffee. And there we get it. And it's telling us we've got 3 columns: a description that's a character, a product number that's a character, and a price that's a double. If I run this again, and I say select star from customers, all right, again, must be customer. Okay, try it again. Select star from customer. Now it tells us, again, there's our 3 records. There's our fields. You notice they're all chars because that's what the author, by and large, has been doing throughout this entire thing. All right, but metadata is data about data, so that gives us schema data right there. All right. Next, they talk about a JTable. So they're talking about, I'm not saying prettying it up, all right, but this is something that you could use and return as HTML, for example, or you could use it in a different kind of language. So let's look at this example, which is tableformatter.java. So we will close here. We should be able to close that one too. I'm going to keep that show one open just in case. I think this was called table formatter. Let's run it. It says enter a select statement. Well, let's put in the one we just put in. Select star from customer. Okay. And should have been table formatter, but it looks like it ran this one. No, it looks like we're getting almost the same results there. So select star from coffee, and you can see what we're getting. All right, not sure exactly what that's showing us. It is a table formatter. Let's see what they show in the book here. I think we want this one, a Coffee DB viewer, but we'll see. Now they're starting to put a lot more Java in here. Okay? So let's bring up the Coffee DB viewer. In fact, let's create that first. Let's clear this. Run this. Errors. Cancel. So there's an error in here someplace. Coffee DB query. I might have had to run that program first. Don't know. Let's see. So let's come in here and do that. Probably is something here called Coffee DB query, which would mean it'd have to be in here also. Okay, so let's submit the query. Select star from customer. Submit. There's our results in a table. How about select star from coffee? See if it minds if we put the semicolon in there or not. Yep, it does. So there's our coffee info. Now let's see if we can go back to our Coffee DB viewer and run that. So again, I want to clear the console and run this. It's going to look the same as before. Select star from customer, submit, and there it is. Okay, I'm not going to run through this stuff. Okay, I'm just about spent on this chapter, to be honest with you. So they show you examples. Relational data allows you to combine information from multiple tables. It's all called a join. So there is an example. If we want to join information from multiple tables, all right, then we have to relate them together. And this is explained very well in the book. When joining data from multiple tables, be sure to use a where. All right, because if you don't, you can end up getting a lot of stuff that you don't care about. They end this with a complete order entry system, which is a Coffee DB manager. It says that it performs operations on the Coffee database. What does that mean? Pretty much what I mentioned to you before. It's going to allow you to do updates, inserts, and deletes. So let's find Coffee DB manager. And then let's come in here. We'll close the viewer. And let's run this. All right. Now not only can we say select star from Coffee, like we did before, submit that, and it shows us everything. Okay. We also should be able to come in here and say insert into Coffee. What do we have there? Description. Was it prod number? I don't remember. Prod. I'll have to check. So let's check. That was our Coffee inserter. So let's look. Prod num and price. Okay. Prod num, price, values, and we'll put, like we did before, we'll put in for a description, test brand Coffee. Prod number will be ZZZ002, and the price will be $27.50, and we'll submit. I'll grab all that just in case I've got an error in this, so I've got that available to me. Copy, submit. Only enter select statements. Okay, so that's all that it accepts. So select star from Coffee, where description, try to put in the one I put in before, like %, be %. Let's see if it takes it now. Doesn't like that. So what am I doing wrong here? Oh, I wonder if it's got to be a capital B. There we go. Remember this, the Java DB is case sensitive. They all have a B in there. Well, notice there's a bunch of them with an A, so let's put in here a lowercase a. And notice that we get probably just about everything. We change that from an A to an I, we'll get a lot less. Okay, they all have medium or Bolivian or Brazilian or whatever in there. Okay. We could set this up also with more code. It's already at 260 lines, but we could set this up where you would allow inserts and updates and deletes also. So sorry if I've been a little lax at the end here. Okay. That's pretty much, I believe at least, it. What is this program here? Coffee panel. All right, it's a custom panel, so let's try that one. And we'll open it up here also. Let's close a bunch of these. I want to open from the desktop. Coffee panel. Run this. Look familiar. All right, select star from Coffee. And the author is just keeps showing you different derivations, basically, of the same example. Okay? All right. Oops, that was nice. All right, I think we're just about through with the chapter. There's a date panel in here. I'm not going to go through that one. All right, quantity and order date. Another thing with select statements, but it allows more advanced select statements. Last thing they talk about in here are transactions, where you can do a bunch of things together as a unit. And then stored procedures, and all a stored procedure is when you save the inserts and updates and delete statements that we've been talking about. You can save. You can also save your selects. All right, so that's it. I would say that on a 1 to 10, I've given you about a 5 or a 5.5. So you've been introduced to this stuff, and it's up to you to go back, read the chapter, and then run with the examples you have.